This is a concept exploration video. We're going to talk about what's called Snag-Smash. It's a quick game concept, typically focuses to one side of the field. There's multiple variations or iterations of it. The one that I'm going to focus on here today is called Snag-Smash. In this case, it's an 11 personnel group by the Rams, and they got the tight end set to the backside. So what I mean is you got a tight end set to the backside. So this concept, these three routes, pretty much ubiquitously called Snag-Smash. In this case, involves three stand-ups, or what I mean by that is three wide receivers out of 11 personnel group, one running back, one tight end set away from that bunch set or wide bunch set. So the first part of this is a flat route, oftentimes by the number 3 receiver, whether that's a tight end, running back, or in this case, an actual wide receiver. This is a quintessential version of it, in my opinion. It's a quick hitter that can work against man, cover 2 zone, cover 3, etc. You got the snag route, which is kind of like an angled hook. That's the outside receiver, Devontae Adams. And then kind of like this corner flag, whatever you want to call it, by the point man. In this case, it's a really nice job by Malachi Starks, the rookie this past year for the Ravens, 2025. Really, they're sitting down into what I would refer to as a cover 3. 4 underneath defenders, deep third corner, although that, certainly looks like a man turn, and then a free safety in the middle of the field. So Starks has his eye. Starks can see it all developing in front of him, coming down from depth, able to make a quick tackle. The idea for each of these plays that I show you isn't that they're successful. It's really, to be honest with you, to try to give as many of you as possible some installation or understanding, I should say, of the concept and familiarity with it, so that when you watch games next year or even college film preparing for the draft this year, you understand what you're looking at as quickly as possible. A couple of differences here with this particular play that the Jets use. It's a 4th and 2. Their Week 8 win in Cincinnati, actually 39-38 comeback victory over the Bengals. Cincinnati's blitzing both safeties here, and it's the same exact concept. I'm going to try to be consistent with the color scheme that I use. So the flat route is always going to be drawn in like orange. The angled hook or snag, in this case by the outside receiver, is always going to be yellow. And the corner or flag, whatever you want to call it, smash concept, is always going to be drawn in blue. Both safeties are blitzing. And I think Fields actually has the flats here, the tight end out in the flats. Keep in mind, like I said, this is a 4th and 2. He takes the touchdown. It's man. So with both safeties, one here and one here, blitzing off the corner, it's the right move, in my opinion. Take the matchup. And in this case, you've got a clear win against, I think that's Dax Hill. This concept can be run, this is a 12 personnel grouping, by the way, and a little bit wider set between the 3 receivers, 1, 2, 3, than we saw on the previous iteration by the Rams, where you've got all three of those receivers in a bunch set, more compressed. Snag-Smash is something that I don't refer to it as a half-field read, even though certainly the conceptual read is to one half of the field. That's often used in a derogatory way to say quarterbacks can only read one half of the field. And I reject those terms, to be honest with you. It's just a pass concept that focuses on one side, and it gives quarterbacks, I think, great options to attack man, cover 3, cover 2, depending on what they've got to the front side. In this case, we're focusing on Snag-Smash, as opposed to the back end of the formation. You really need 3 receivers to get this done, 3 eligible receivers. I don't mean to say 3 wide receivers. In this case, you're going to have a running back and a tight end set up into the boundary. Snag-Smash is often a boundary side play, to be honest with you. This is a 3rd and 5, Washington against Cleveland this past year, and I think it's going to be a decision that maybe Jaden Daniels would like to have back. There's a variation on the route concept, but what I really want to talk about is how they're giving 2 concepts to the quarterback. One that would presumably be a man beater to the bottom side of the screen, and it actually works, and then up top something that could be utilized no matter the coverage. There's a little bit of a switch release. So the outside receiver this time is running the corner or the flag, again illustrated by the blue line. The tight end is getting an outside release and then snagging it up or curling once he gets his heels into the end zone. And that's where Jaden Daniels is trying to get this football. Unfortunately for him, inside linebacker or second-level defender has moved or hedged to that side, number 1. Number 2, has his eyes directly on Daniels as he's releasing it. Not here to evaluate Daniels' read or what he should have done on this play, because obviously if you have to do over again, you would like to take the pick or rub screen concept down here to the bottom side that springs number 17 absolutely wide open. We're talking about how these guys work this against man. You got obvious setup man, or I should say shown man pre-snap to the bottom side of the screen, the left-hand side for Washington's offense, and more congested look up here that certainly could still end up being man with those three defenders over top of the tight end, the receiver, and the running back. In any case, you can see how the receiver springs open here, but Jaden Daniels has already made his decision where to go with the ball based on the read. Snag-Smash gives you the opportunity to get rid of the football quick. That's, the whole point of it. Maybe in this case, he ended up picking the, quote, wrong side, if you will. We're here to talk about the concept, how these quarterbacks look at it. And what I really enjoy about this, as far as how it makes reads somewhat easier for quarterbacks, is the limited vision or field of vision that it requires for them to get this done as far as a read. It kind of cut the field down, per se, and give them an opportunity to get rid of the ball quickly. Unfortunately, this time for Washington, it didn't work out in their favor. I'm trying to illustrate as many different personnel groups and formations as possible while still illustrating offensive NFL teams using the same offensive concept, like I said, called Snag-Smash. This is from the Ravens' wildcard win over the Steelers in 2024. It's a 2nd and 10. Ends up being a really nice play by Lamar Jackson. They're trying to get out of the shadow of their own end zone, number one. Number two, utilizing the gravity of Derrick Henry. They've been running the ball extremely well against the Steelers on this night. And Pittsburgh's responded with their base defense against a jumbo 23 personnel group. So 2 running backs on the field, Ricard and Henry. 3 tight ends, Likely, Kolar, both gone, and then Jones gone as well, but he was a jumbo tight end or an eligible offensive lineman reported as a tight end in this formation. But there's the concept. The fullback is going to go in motion out into the flats. Likely is running the snag route, kind of sitting down, just basically replacing the defender that goes with the flat concept. So what I'm talking about is this defender here. The idea is that the curl, the angled hook, replaces that defender's feet as he expands with the flat concept. So the flat route is here, and this is the defender expanding with him. Likely is essentially replacing his heels. But unfortunately for Lamar, once he gets back set up to throw the football after the play action fake, you can see that, first of all, you got a little bit of pressure in his face, and then in addition, an inside linebacker directly in the window between Lamar and Isaiah Likely. A really nice adjustment, quick recognition by Likely to put his foot in the ground, recognize now that, okay, there's no lane for Lamar to throw the football. I've got to move, and he does. Lamar adjusts or adapts along with him. On a 2nd and 10, you end up getting 8 or 9 yards. It's a concept that I think establishes parameters or locations for certain players, meaning the route gets them to a certain spot, and then when they do need to adjust, it can be done so quickly. End zone angle of the same play. Again, this is the defender who's going to expand with the flat route by Pat Ricard, who's going to go in motion. And Likely's job is just to replace his heels, essentially where he was pre-snap, where 25 was, I think it's Deshaun Elliott pre-snap, replace him. Unfortunately for Baltimore and Lamar, this linebacker, I think it's Landon Roberts, who's since moved on at this point to the Raiders. He's in the window. Lamar and Likely on the same page, immediately recognizing there's nowhere to throw the football. The flat route, which is Ricard, is off screen to our left. In addition, you've got the flag or the corner, which has basically been covered up by Joey Porter Jr. Against the tight ends. A quick, short game concept, force inside linebackers, strong safety, second-level defenders, let's just do it that way. Force second-level defenders to defend tight space quickly and allow agile and smart players like Isaiah Likely and Lamar Jackson to adjust quickly if the initial passing lane is clogged up. Some more flexibility with the way NFL offenses use this concept. This is a 4th and 2. The Chiefs win against the Ravens week 7, and it's a sprint concept attached to this, number one. Number two, it is a half-field read, so it's Pat Mahomes moving out to his right-hand side, kind of illustrated by this purple line. I think it's the first or maybe the second possession. There's 3 receivers involved here, so interesting setup for the Chiefs. They got a running back on the backside, that's Pacheco, who's obviously since moved on to the Lions, and then Kelsey, tight end down to the bottom side. Both of those guys are involved in the pass protection. This is a 3-man route scheme, a little bit of a variation. There's really, to be honest with you, kind of a pick or a rub element down here to the bottom side of the screen. We're talking about the way that Juju The outside receiver running the snag kind of sits right in the way of Marlon Humphrey and allows the inside receiver, the number 2, Worthy, a little bit of a stutter, slow release, if you will, to then run to the outside, convert the 4th and 2. Maybe it's a 4th and 3 officially. It's a different utilization of the concept. I don't think, that this route is really in Mahomes' mind as a possibility, but on paper, at least the way that the coaches drew it up, if these routes get clogged up or maybe somebody falls down, then he's got another option to his right as he's peeling out to the same side. Hopefully I explain that in a way that makes sense. Basically, there's a lot of flexibility with this concept. I think there's versatility with who can run it. Running backs involved at times, tight ends, like you saw with the interception thrown by Jaden Daniels against Cleveland. In this case, 3 wide receivers. It's really predicated on 3 eligibles being lined up to one side of the formation pre-snap. Just something to point out that maybe I could have included in this video as far as another play to discuss is what's just called a snag concept, or snag flat. It's a 2-man concept. Okay, most of the plays that we've shown here, or all of them in fact, involve 3 receivers to one side, or 3 eligibles. So the out route by number 2, in this case it's a tight end, and then snag or angled hook by number 1. The 3rd receiver potentially would be the running back who's lined up in the pistol. So clearly they don't have 2 lined up to that side, at least initially. It's a boundary side concept, snag flat, that is. And typically, the difference, I should say, is that normally you're getting a tight end in Snag-Smash is the guy who's running the vertical that turns into a corner or a flag. The receiver, the Raiders actually utilize a really kind of cool variation on this one, to be honest with you. I would call it snag wheel. So you do get the angled hook or the snag concept by number 1, flat route by the tight end, illustrated in orange, and then a wheel route run by the guy in motion. There's not really much accomplished here from a yards gained standpoint for the Raiders, that is. But what I really like about this, the way they're getting it done, is it puts a second-level defender in conflict, number 1. Number 2, it gives Geno Smith, since he's running the play action to his left, the top side of our screen, it gives him a very clear view, obviously, of what the defenders are doing to that side. You can see you've got an unblocked edge defender there, second-level defender that's part of the read, and then you've got the snag concept sitting down, the flat route here, and then the wheel threatening basically the same area of the field that I've been illustrating generally so far in blue on Snag-Smash. So this basically doesn't end up being Snag-Smash. Again, I've referred to it as snag wheel. There's a quarterback, or there's a play action variation here that puts the quarterback's eyes to that side, where he can make a quick read. The only problem is, as a right-handed quarterback, he's got to real quickly flip his hips to get rid of the football. This second-level defender is moving towards the tight end, but he's still in this window to the wide receiver. So we can only guess that's why Geno threw that ball there so quickly. Another cool little variation off of that it kind of works off of Snag-Smash. We'll call this snag sit, and it's from that same game against the Titans. It's a 3rd and 3, and it's really almost it ends up being designed like a clear out concept, if you ask me. So tight end going to work to the inside and then run up the seam, which most people refer to as between the hash and the top of the number. So the tight end is taking a little bit of a vertical release, veering off to the inside. Some running back, in this case Ashton Genty, moving out to the flats really quick. And all they're doing is really clearing out space for the wide receiver to run onto. His route has got to be precise. He's just trying to get to the outside foot, if you ask me, of the tight end, such that a second-level defender, in this case it's an inside linebacker, who's dropping out, and you can see he's got his eyes on the tight end. That's the innermost receiver, reading what's called 2-to-1, where this is the number 2 receiver, and this is number 1, numbering from outside in, from the sideline to the inside. But in any case, when you get the end zone angle, you'll see what I'm talking about. I think this receiver is actually kind of looking at the tight end's feet to ensure where he puts himself, where he positions his body. So basically, I'm talking about like a tunnel, if you will, behind this outside release by the running back, this kind of vertical where that he really sits down. So all of the space between here, the top of the numbers, and the outside foot of the tight end being the wide receiver's assignment, if you will. give you the end zone angle so you can see it. Again, it's a quick concept that works against, almost any coverage, very similar to mesh. It just depends on the quarterback's recognition of it. I wonder at times if snag smash isn't a concept that's used when the offensive coordinator doesn't necessarily have a great idea of what coverage the defense is going to play based upon, tendencies and statistical data that they have access to that we do not. My point in bringing that up is because there's been times before where I'm like, why did they call snag smash on this 3rd and 3, but not before or even after in a particular game? Not this game between the Raiders and the Titans. I didn't watch the whole thing. I only really watched the first half. So watch the wide receiver's path relative to this tight end's movement, which is illustrated by that blue line. I actually think he's almost looking at the foot or at the body positioning of the tight end, he being the outside receiver, for where to plant himself, basically creating, again, a tunnel or a lane between the tight end, the outside of the tight end's body, I should have drawn that, and the receiver for Geno to quickly access on a 3rd and 3, functioning almost like a pick or a shield, except there's no defender to pick. The tight end, is just occupying this second-level defender long enough such that there's no one in this lane at all to deal with that outside receiver. Really an easy completion. Geno was looking, right there for the read. Snag smash, something that I think, first of all, it's a cool concept. It's used a ton. It's not a limiting factor, in my opinion, or an indication that a quarterback doesn't process things quickly. So many quarterbacks run it. I intentionally gave you examples here of Justin Fields, right? Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Geno Smith, among others, being asked to execute this concept. Snag smash is something that has some added variations to it. I really want to keep these videos in the 5 to 7 minute range. We obviously went well past it for this one. If you sat around long enough and listened to me talk about this content, first of all, thank you. Second of all, if you're unaware, myself and a number of other, football analysts or people who attempt to do this as much as we can, we've created a website called draftsignal.pro. The web address will be posted up in the description and also as the video premieres. It has individual player evaluations for, at this point, over 140 players. You can filter or search for, whatever positional group you're interested in. In this case, I'll click on the edge group because there's just so many talented guys. And we've got evaluation/film available for pretty much all of the players that you see on the site. Super attractive website. We think that we've put a lot of work into, probably over a couple hundred hours at this point in time. I won't click on the plays for obvious reasons, but you guys are welcome to do that if you want to peruse the website. We've got a draft board available for people also to search the site if they wish from that direction. If you were searching for Zion Young, you could find where we have him projected and read any or all evaluations that have been provided. In this case, we've got 2, and then check out film that's provided as well. Give us some feedback on this website in the comments section if you go check it out. Appreciate you guys' time.